Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back again to another one. Let's talk, shall we? Let's talk. You read the title. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm not going to waste any time here. So, the top 5 worst type of people that you will encounter in corporate America or at corporate jobs or at office jobs or at any kind of job where you're in like a building or something and you see the same people on a recurring basis. Okay, you see the same people every day or at least 5 days a week or whatever your schedule is. Okay. um a lot of you might say, how do you even know what everyone's situation is? Everyone has a different situation. You don't even know what you're talking about. That blah, this, and that, whatever. Guys, I have worked numerous jobs in the corporate world. Okay, I get it. I'm a young guy, whatever, but I've had lots of experiences at lots of different types of workplaces and lots of different corporate environments. And I'm just gonna tell you, there are people like this everywhere, all over the planet, okay? Especially in the West, especially in the United States, okay? So while, yes, I don't know everyone's situation, what I do know is that at every single corporate environment, there are always people like this, okay? So number one, we've all encountered these types before. Number one, the worst type of people that you will encounter is the gossiping narcissists, okay? These are the people whose lives absolutely suck outside of the workplace. They have a terrible life. They hate themselves. They hate their life. They're like a miserable bum loser. And when they come into the workplace, they want to spread that misery and spread that negativity amongst everyone, okay? These are the people that are constantly talking about people behind their back in a negative way. They they can't ever say anything good about anyone. Everything they say is like some negative comment. Oh, this person is that. This person is this. That person is that. Oh my God. All they do is like talk about other people. These are the people that can never focus on themselves to save their life. These are the people that, oftentimes have a very shit life, okay? And they want to try to avoid reflecting on that. And so a way they do that is just bully other people. They just shit on other people, constantly bully other people. These are the most unserious people in the world. You guys should never take people like this seriously. These are the people that use gossip as a way to like gain social power and like control people and control the narrative about people and stuff like this. Again, these are people that are very powerless in their lives typically, and so when they get into the workplace, that gives them like an opportunity that they can pretend to feel powerful and stuff like this, guys. These are the people who feed off of drama, because drama and chaos like gives them some kind of stimulation, or it gives them attention or something like that. Again, these people are not people that you should take seriously. These are individuals who suck a lot of times. These are the people who love to spread negativity and spread paranoia and shit like this in the workplace. They just, for some reason, they just love being a shitty person. Okay, they just love being a shit person. And, a lot of times these people can cause a lot of damage across the entire team, across the entire workplace. And these people are not fun to be around, for sure. These are the individuals that are like obsessed with image. They're obsessed with status. They're obsessed with like social positioning, shit like this, meaningless stuff like that. And one thing that you should know is that people who do stuff like that are garbage. People who do stuff like that are scumbags. People who, they go into the workplace, they think it's like a party or something. These are the people that never grew up past like the middle school mentality or like the high school mentality, but like they're a grown adult. You know what I mean? They're like a 35-year-old person or older, but yet they're acting like they're 14 or something like this. These are the people that are like trying to relive their teenage glory days a lot of the time, because that was the only time in their life where they felt like they had some power. You know what I'm saying? That was the only time in their life where they felt like they were like popular or some crap like this. These are the people where it's like they're trying to pretend like they're like the popular kids, bro. Like these are like, we're the cool kids, dog. We're the fucking we're popular and cool in the workplace, and aren't we so cool and awesome and shit like this? It's like, no, you're an idiot. You're a moron. You're a loser. That's why you're doing stuff like that in the first place. And guys, when they do stuff like that, that reveals more about themselves than about the people that they're gossiping about. Okay, it tells you when people tell you who they are, believe them, guys. Okay. So that's number one, the gossiping narcissist. Okay, and lots of times these are groups of people and not just one. So number two, the wannabe boss. These are the individuals where it's like, oftentimes these people also feel powerless in their personal lives. And so when they get into the workplace, they have this mentality where it's like, okay, well, now I can pretend like I'm powerful and stuff. I can pretend like I'm fucking powerful and tell people what to do, even though, these are the ones that they are not management at all. They have zero authority at all. They have a job title that is very likely like on the bottom of the totem pole or very close to it, but yet they act like they're management, even though they have zero authority. They try to like police their coworkers and shit like this. They try to tell you what to do and act like they're your boss and they're like, they have some kind of authority over you and shit, even though they very clearly do not. These are the people that love telling people what to do so they can pretend to feel like they're important because they know they're very unimportant. They're not special, but they want to pretend and feel like they are. These are the people who will like report very petty, very minor stuff to the supervisor to try to pretend like they're on the side of the supervisor. They're like an informant. They're like some snitch or some crap like that. Oftentimes these are the people that are like breathing down your neck, you know what I mean? Watching you for any kind of petty little mistake. You miss a period in an email. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. I need to report you to the supervisor so I can pretend like I'm powerful and stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? These people are idiots. These people are morons. These people are powerless. These people are complete jokes a lot of the time. Don't take people like this seriously either. These are people who are oftentimes very, very insecure about their actual status in the workplace. They desperately wish that they could have power, they could have authority in some sense, but a lot of times these are people who are very incompetent at their job. And so they want to pretend like they're powerful because they can't actually achieve a position of authority on their own merit. So what they do is just pretend and try to correct people publicly to look like they're competent and stuff like that when really they're not. People like this create a lot of tension in the workplace because the people around them feel like they're being watched or they're being controlled or something by somebody who has absolutely no right to do that to them in the first place. Listen, if you're a real leader, a real manager, a real boss, you don't feel the need to pretend and constantly do these displays of like fake dominance and shit like that, guys. Someone who is genuinely competent, who is a genuine boss, who is a genuine person of authority, or a manager in a workplace is not gonna act in like this weird, insecure pseudo way where they need to pretend to be powerful and shit like this. They just are who they are. They're just doing their job to the best of their ability, and they're empathetic to coworkers, and they just treat you normally. Okay, so that's number two, the wannabe boss. Okay, number three, the third person that sucks in corporate environments is the brown noser. Okay, this is the teacher's pet. This is the guy or this is the girl who was the teacher's pet in high school or in middle school, but now they're an adult. They still have this mindset where like trying to impress management is like the right thing to do. They're so far up the manager's ass to the point where only their feet are hanging out at this point. Okay. They agree with whatever the authority figures say. You know what I mean? They laugh super hard at the boss's jokes, and they constantly like seek approval from the boss and shit like this. These are your individuals who will throw you under the bus to make themselves look better. You know what I mean? Even if you're looking better than they are, these are the people that will throw you under the bus. These are your social chameleons in some sense. These are the people who will change their personality depending on who they're around so they look good. Okay, these are your individuals who they want to be close to power more than they want like an authentic working relationship with somebody. These are the people that also kind of are these wannabe bosses too. They're kind of like a wannabe boss in a sense as well. And I'll say this too before I continue. Some of these will overlap. So like the brown noser can also be the narcissist. The narcissist can also be the teacher's pet. You know what I mean? The wannabe boss can also be the brown noser. Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? Some of these will overlap. Okay. But back to the brown noser. So these are the people that a lot of people will resent and hate, because it's like, people can just sense the inauthenticity with this person. People can see, okay, this is some kiss ass. This is somebody who will like get on their knees and worship the fucking manager as soon as they walk into the room, or worship the boss and all. They're just the fakest people on earth, guys. These are also your people who will overperform socially frequently, rather than just be a professional. You know what I mean? These are your overly socially performing people and shit like this. These are also your people who mistake obedience for competence. They think that just follow all the rules, bro, and just do whatever the authority figure tells me and stuff like this, instead of actually thinking for themselves and being competent themselves. So that the brown noser or the teacher's pet, these are incredibly annoying people that all of us have to deal with. So that's number 3. Number 4, and we've all dealt with someone like this, guys. The insecure micromanager. Okay, these are the people these are the managers who are breathing down your neck constantly, like watching everything you do like a hawk, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to control everything you do. You know, they're looking for a lot. This is very similar to the wannabe boss, but this person actually is the boss, unfortunately. This is someone who is very incompetent a lot of times at their position, but somehow they have a title where they have a management position somehow, even though they're incompetent. So what they do to compensate for the fact that they're incompetent is just micromanage everybody, just control everything. These are the managers who feel threatened by employees who are genuinely competent in an area or independent thinkers, okay? These are your managers who try to control every tiny detail of what you're doing. They don't trust you to do your job because they don't trust themselves. And so they're like aggressive control and monitoring you and all this kind of garbage. Oftentimes these people will give people instructions that are like contradictory, and then they'll blame you for it. These are the managers who constantly need to check in with you because they fear that you might take their position. These are very, very insecure managers who are not secure in what they do. And so they constantly need to check in on you and stuff like that. Hey, let's have a meeting for 5 minutes today. You know, let's do it every 10 minutes, bro. We need to have a meeting today. We need to have a meaningless meeting every day, you know? A lot of times these people create an exhausting work environment and stuff like that because of the unnecessary pressure that they put on you. A lot of these insecure micromanagers will put a ton of pressure on you, and if you make like the tiniest mistake in the world, again, it's this huge deal and this kind of stuff. A lot of these people operate from anxiety and insecurity instead of confidence. These are not confident managers. These are not confident leaders. These are people who, again, you don't even know how they even got to the management position in the first place. A lot of these people got to management because of someone that they knew rather than their actual skill and competence in an area. Again, these people can kind of slow down or suffocate creativity and productivity in the workplace because you're so like concerned with this person who's breathing down your neck. You know what I mean? So it's like, a lot of times these people will make it to where the people who would have otherwise been very creative and very productive are now not. And listen, employees oftentimes feel very drained or nervous or infantilized around these types of people, around these types of managers. It makes you not want to work there anymore. It makes you not want to, you may have a very good job, but if you have a manager that's like this, it will make you not want to work there anymore. You know what I mean? So the insecure micromanager, that's number 4, very, very annoying. The last one, guys. The last one, and I've saved this one for last because this is one that we can all relate to. This is one that is extremely annoying to deal with, okay? And that is the professional victim, okay? Nothing is ever their fault, guys. Nothing is ever their fault. You know what I mean? They're always the victim in the situation. Even if these are oftentimes people who often make serious mistakes, but Anytime they get called out for it, they're the victim. It's someone else's fault. They can never take accountability for their mistakes ever. They always have an excuse. They always have a reason. They always have someone else to blame. Okay. These are the people that seek sympathy constantly, but then resist accountability. They never take accountability, but they want you to feel bad for them all the time. Oh, this other person did that, so that is what caused me to make this mistake. It's like they have a million excuses. But they always want you to feel bad for them. These are the people that turn criticism into persecution. You know what I mean? If you criticize them, they feel like they take it as a personal attack against them instead of just taking their ego out of the situation and just being like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. Absolutely no problem. I'll do it better next time. Thank you for letting me know. They take everything you say as like a criticism against them as a person. They think you're persecuting them when really you might just be saying, hey, you made a mistake. Can you take accountability for it? And let's not do it again the next time. They can never take accountability for their own mistakes, guys. These are also people who they might manipulate other people emotionally to avoid responsibility. You know what I mean? So if they make a mistake, instead of taking responsibility for it, they'll just try to manipulate you emotionally so you feel bad for them. These are people who complain all the time. All they do is complain. Oh my God, this person this person that, you made a mistake, that person made a mistake, this person made a mistake, you made a mistake. They're constantly wanting to point out the mistakes of others without ever taking accountability for the mistakes that they make, okay? And trust me, these people make a lot of them. These people create a ton of emotional exhaustion, guys. These people are energy vampires, you know what I mean? It's very exhausting to work around people who can't take accountability to save their life. You never want to be around people like this, but oftentimes we're forced to be. These are people who use hardship as social leverage instead of growing. So it's like, they constantly use some kind of story like, oh, I've been going through this in my personal life. And listen, we all go through stuff, okay? But these are the people that weaponize that. These are the people that weaponize it in such a way where it's like, you just have to feel bad for them. You know what I mean? They are the professional victim. They're always the victim, okay? These are the people who will derail conversations by making everything personal. Again, I kind of talked about that. They personalize everything. If you criticize something that they do, they take it personally. You know what I mean? So in other words, you can never win. They always have to win the exchange. It's like these are the most insecure people ever. A lot of times these are people who are incompetent as well at their job. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what's going on. And so rather than admit that to themselves and admit that to you, they just take everything personally and they're offended by everything. These are the people that are offended by everything you say, but then ashamed of nothing that they do. You know what I mean? You guys have heard that phrase, offended by everything, ashamed of nothing. The professional victims at workplaces, that's these people, okay? So that's kind of the top 5 right there, guys. Those are the top 5. And I do have one that I wrote down as kind of an honorable mention. And that is the political social climber or the social performer. So these are the people that, again, have oftentimes very little competence in an area. Very, very stupid people are not good at their job legitimately. And so what they do to compensate for that is they take a different strategy. They treat the workplace like it's some social strategy game. You know what I'm saying? Like they craft an image rather than being authentic. They network with people for personal advancement rather than getting ahead in the workplace based on their own merit or their own skill or their own competence. What they do instead is they just pretend like they're friends with everybody. They play like a social manipulation game. I'm friends with that person. I'm friends with the manager. I'm friends with all these different people. So that's how I'm going to get ahead in this place, is just by playing some social game because, I'm actually really stupid and don't know what the hell I'm doing at my job. So I'm just going to treat this like some social hierarchy, some social game, These are also the people that desperately want to fit in, bro. You know what I mean? They want to you gotta fit in like it's some kind of high school thing, some kind of middle school thing. Like they need like social belonging and stuff like this, aren't we're such a family and all this kind of bullshit, Again, these are social chameleons. These are people who change their opinions depending on who's influential. They'll agree with whoever is in a position of power. They might act completely different around higher status people versus people that have a lower kind of title. These are people that are obsessed with optics. They're obsessed with perception. They're obsessed with making alliances. These are people who They study social dynamics way more than they study the actual work that they're doing at the job. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, these are people who don't even care or give a shit at all about the job itself. They're just there for some kind of social brownie points. Okay. These people can seem like they're charismatic and stuff like that, but you can feel this strange hollow energy or emptiness to them, and you can feel that they're very calculated with everything they do. There's no authenticity. There's no sincerity with the person. Oftentimes, these people prioritize visibility over substance. So, they make it look like they're just super likable and shit. Like, these are the people that try to be super liked and stuff like this. I'm so well liked, bro. Even though everybody can see that you're just like some social climber, like moron who has absolutely no idea what the hell you're doing, and you're just playing a social game to try to get ahead. Everybody can see that. And so, again, I'll just say, guys, a lot of these personalities will overlap. The gossiping narcissist can also be the brown noser. The social climber can also be the wannabe boss. And this is just what happens in toxic workplaces. A lot of times corporate jobs are very, very toxic. And again, this doesn't necessarily have to be just corporate. This can be a warehouse. This can be a restaurant, whatever it is, whatever kind of the medical field, whatever it is wherever you work, whatever field that you're in, you're going to come across people like this, guys. And if you're a person who does not fall into any of these categories, odds are you're probably someone who's very pleasant to work around. You're probably someone who's a very hard worker. You're just a cool person. You're just there to do your job, do it well, and leave. And that's most of us. That's most of you listening. And that's a good way to be. So, guys, you don't want to be one of these types of people, okay? If you're anything like me, you don't care what someone's job title is. You don't give a shit if they're the CEO. You don't give a shit if they're the janitor. You're going to treat them like a human being because they're a human being who's deserving of respect and dignity. You know what I mean? If someone is a human being, they're a human being. I don't really care what your job title is, okay? If you're in the workplace and you're a decent human being, I'm going to treat you like a decent human being, all right? So, there's a lot of fakery in workplaces. There's a lot of toxicity, especially today. I don't know what's going on in the world. I know you guys have probably seen a lot of videos online talking about people have changed and people suck now and all this kind of stuff. Not everybody sucks. Not everyone sucks, but lots of people do nowadays. So, just understand that most toxic workplaces are filled with personalities that are rooted in insecurity, image management, and lack of self-awareness. And, again, a lot of corporate environments are filled with these types of people. So, again, there are definitely more personality types that are annoying to deal with in these types of environments and are toxic as well. So let me know in the comments section if you have any more that you can add. Let me know your 2 cents. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I do read the comments, guys. So, that's the video, guys. Those are the top 5 worst types of people that you will inevitably encounter in corporate jobs, guys. So thank you guys for watching. My name is John, and I'll see you guys in the next one.